So recently, I had to paint my house. And to be honest, I am a horrible painter. And maybe you're really good, I don't know. But to be honest, when I got into the home, I had to paint the entire interior. And so I started on one wall, and very quickly I realized what a bad idea this is gonna be. Because I'm not a good painter, it's taken me forever. There's just so many walls that need to be painted. I have to cut in and all of these things. And I didn't really put any tarps down. I didn't really tape anything. I was just kind of going for it. And as I started painting, I realized something, that when I would paint and the paint would get on a wall that it wasn't supposed to be on, if I wiped that paint off quickly, it would come off really easily. I mean, I didn't even have to really do anything. I just got a rag and it came right up. But when I let the paint sit for a minute or two and then try to wipe it up, it became a lot more difficult to get the paint off of the surface it wasn't supposed to be on. And to be honest, it started making me realize this idea that how often in our lives are we allowing unforgiveness to settle in our hearts towards someone and we don't deal with it. Maybe someone offended you. Maybe someone did something to you in the past and you never addressed it. And so you just go on with your life. You never say anything to that person and you just let it continue to fester in your heart. And what happens is the longer that goes on, the more animosity, the more resentment, the more anger and bitterness begins to build inside of you, for yourself, but also to people around you and to the person that you have that unforgiveness or that has sinned against you. And so maybe you don't address it and then it just continues to get worse and worse. And it made me realize this: how do we resolve conflict in a Christ-like way? And I started thinking of Matthew 18. See, Matthew 18:15 says, "Moreover, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he hears you, you have gained a brother." See, I've seen this in my own life with my dad. My dad left when I was about 2 years old. He ended up walking out on me and my mom and my sister, and I grew up in a broken home. Years later, I had the opportunity to reconcile with me and my dad. I was about 20 years old. He ended up living 5 minutes down the road from me in Nashville, Tennessee. And I called him up and we just had the most incredible conversation together. And I let him know that he hurt me. I let him know that what he did caused animosity and resentment and anger. And because of that conversation, reconciliation happened. And because of that, now me and my dad's relationship has been completely restored. It's been redeemed. And now my kids now have a relationship with their grandfather. And that's all because of Matthew 18. That when someone sins against you, you go and you tell them. You have a conversation. And I want to encourage you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through today, if you have unforgiveness in your heart, if you have an issue with a brother or sister in Christ, don't be like me, who was getting paint on surfaces and letting it sit. I want you to address it quickly, because the quicker we address sin and we're able to resolve the conflict, the less resentment and anger and bitterness we'll have in our hearts towards that individual. And I think if I was a betting man, I would be safe to say, I think you'll experience more freedom in your life than potentially the person you're forgiving.